Welcome back to Movie Draft House. I'm host Mark, and it's another 5-minute review. Today's review, going to be talking about the recently released in theaters sequel, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. That's Beetlejuice 2, in case you didn't catch on. It's a sequel to the 1989 original Beetlejuice, so we're talking 30 years that separates the two of them. And it once again stars Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara, and Jena Ortega. It's directed by Tim Burton and written by a handful of people. Alfred Goh, Miles Millar, and Seth Grahame-Smith. It runs for an hour 45. It's rated PG-13. So, is it as good as the original Beetlejuice? My wife's behind me. I'm going to ask her to say yes or no.
No.
She says no. It's I'm going to agree. It's not as good, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was it paid homage to the original while also establishing some new stuff. And one thing I didn't like is that it kind of rushed the ending, and it didn't really give certain characters, I guess, it established characters but didn't give them really any type of backstory. Like the villain, Beetlejuice's ex-wife, is introduced early on as a villain. However, and we're meant to think that she's like this big bad villain and she's after Beetlejuice. And by the end of the film, she just kind of fades into nothing. Spoiler alert: she gets eaten by a Beetlejuice snake. But and then there's another villain-esque. Jena Ortega falls for this ghost boy, and it turns out he's a villain, but he's only really in the movie to get her into the afterlife, and so that's kind of short-sighted there, and I feel like a little unearned, is because we spend a good chunk of the film with him. But all in all, this movie is Catherine O'Hara's. I thought she was the best once again, as Delia Dietz. And she really steals the show. And she's great in everything she does. But I really enjoyed her character this time around. Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice, he doesn't have that much screen time, which is weird. We spend a real good chunk of the film with Lydia, Winona Ryder's character, and Jena Ortega, and for a movie with the titular character's name in it, we didn't get what I thought was enough Beetlejuice, and I think that was missed opportunity. Now, obviously, this movie's going to make a ton of money. There's likely going to be a third film. And so there's a lot of, I guess, time and opportunity to continue with Beetlejuice's character. Anyways, Willem Dafoe is on this as well. He plays a fake cop in the afterlife. And he's really good. He's just hamming it up. He steals most of the screen time that he's given. Justin Theroux is also in this, and he's pretty good too as Rory, Lydia's fiance. And so the cast here is really good. I really enjoyed the cast. I really enjoyed the characters. And this is very much a Tim Burton film. It's very weird. It's very stylistically all over the place, which is kind of what his thing is. It intermixes some stop motion animation and just some rather interesting gore type stuff in the film. But all in all, I enjoyed it. I recommend this one. It's a worthwhile follow up, especially 30 years later. I think Tim Burton really dialed in and gave audiences a decent enough sequel to where I would want more. So I recommend it, but I also recommend hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss any future content right here on the podcast if you're watching on YouTube. And if you want to follow the podcast on all your favorite social media platforms, we're at Movie Draft House. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, right here on YouTube. Give us a like, follow, subscribe. And don't forget the podcast releases weekly, every Thursday, on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And we'll catch you next time.
I'm needed upstairs. Bob, hold down the fort.